says we're live on Zoom. We'll let Facebook catch up because sometimes it cuts off the start of it. That's nice and slow. There we go. Right. So we are live on Facebook now. So we are in the Strength Pride group. So hello, ladies. I do understand that it's 9:30 in the morning. So some of you are in bed. I think it's like 3 a.m. And some of you have got kids. So like you're never free. So if you aren't able to catch us live, that's completely fine. Aneesa will be in this group for a little while after, if you've got any questions for her. And also at the end, we'll go over how you can get in touch with her anyway directly if you need to work with her. So we are going to be talking about finding your inner voice and like managing anxiety and stress and fear and all that fun stuff. And Aneesha's going to provide some really good value and some exercises that we can do. But first, can you please introduce yourself to the ladies in this group?
Yes, of course. I'm Aneesa Chaudhry. I'm a voice and performance coach. So for most of my life, I've loved music and I've loved singing. I've also been a professional singer. Well, I am a professional singer, and I've trained as a barrister. So I love the stage and I know exactly what people go through when they're anxious or nervous about being on stage. But as my life kind of went along, I'm 45 now, I realized that actually there's so much more to what happens in that moment before you get onto stage, which is to do with everyday life. And that is that people experience fear and anxiety and nerves in a lot of life. And so I started to make it my kind of life's goal to sort of dig into that really and see if I could bring some of my skill and knowledge from like the barrister side and the performing side and managing nerves to help people. And that's what I do. So, and I love what I do because for me, it's meaningful work, and that really matters to me. And certainly with lockdown, I think, yeah, last March when we went into lockdown, a lot of my work ended up going online, and I was working with choirs online, and it was just really hard because singing with people online is really hard because there's something called latency, so you can't have everyone's voices all being heard at the same time and feeling that energy. So I was going through the motion of running 5 choirs for charities, and really happy to offer something in terms of spirit and togetherness, but it just became less meaningful work for me, and that was really hard to accept because I love doing that. I love giving back to the community, but I just thought, well, you're going to just have to get that other string from your bow out, add it into the violin bow, the horse's hairs, and actually start to work more directly with people again. And I've been doing that in corporate settings anyway for the last 25 odd years, but discovered this whole entrepreneurial world and mums who maybe want to speak up in the playground and say they're not happy about something that's happened to their child, and discover basically that there's this whole avenue of people who don't have access to that kind of training. So that's kind of why I'm doing what I do, like here and now. But it's something that I've always felt really passionately about for, I don't know, about 25 odd years.
Yeah, and I can totally tell you're passionate about it. And I'm glad that you mentioned the pandemic, because I know a lot of people are struggling with it. It's something that it's completely unknown. People don't know how to manage it. And I know in this group, there's a couple of ladies who are feeling a bit of health anxiety around the pandemic, whether they should get the vaccine, whether they shouldn't, whether, they're going to get coronavirus or their family members are. And it's the stress about the changing up at work as well. And I know there's a few ladies in here who are stressed about just working generally as well, just in their workplace. I think this live training will really, really help them. And we've obviously talked a little bit, well, the title has talks about inner voice. What exactly is the inner voice?
So we all have an inner voice. So if you remove the idea of an audible voice for a second and just think of who we are as people, some people call it woo woo, some people think of it as a holistic approach. But when I think of ourselves, our bodies, who we are as human beings, what I think of as the inner voice is that inner calling that is saying, am I happy with my life? Am I doing what I want? Am I being heard? Am I able to express what I want the way I want? Am I living authentically? And quite often with the clients I work with, the answer that comes back is no. And when you're juggling family life, you're juggling looking after your kids or going to work, you have to prioritize and something has to give. And normally the thing that gives is yourself. So
Mm.
there's like two meanings to that word, that expression, aren't there? What gives is yourself. So in other words, you are giving all the time, you're serving all the time, but at the same time you're not serving yourself anymore, because you've deprioritized what your needs are in order to say, well, to be a good mum, or to be a good father, or to be a good carer, I need to prioritize those who need me more than my own needs. So your inner voice is that inner calling that's just crying out the whole time, saying, what about me, what about me? And so the work I do with people is to start really way back there, which it can sort of feel a bit irrelevant, but actually I think it's the nub of everything. Because if you don't start with what about me, there's
Mm.
always going to be this feeling of dissatisfaction. Am I living my life to the fullest? What if I die tomorrow? Will I've done all those things I want? We all talk about bucket lists and have I ticked off all those things I wanted to do? And it's an amazing moment when you gift yourself something in life. So one of the things I did many years ago was decided to go traveling for a year, and it's something we all talk about when we're growing up. We go through uni or work and say, I want a year out, I want to go traveling. And it's not until I did it and I gifted myself that time, worked 4 jobs in order to be able to do it, but then I realized I was really nourishing my heart and my soul. And just simple things like, I say simple, but they went trekking through the mountains in Nepal or Peru, thinking, wow, this is incredible. I'm experiencing something differently. And I was poorly for quite a lot of those treks, just things like stomach upsets or,
Yeah.
massive headaches. But just what you learn about yourself and your body in those moments is incredible. And you're faced with a mountain and thinking, this is my life. Have I chosen this? So when I'm looking at what I do with other people, I always ask them to think about gifting themselves time, and to think about what they need and what they love. And so people might come to me and say, I want to work on my public speaking or presenting. I'm feeling really anxious and don't quite know how to handle these things. And I'll always start with, okay, let's look at you. Who are you? What makes up you? What's missing? What makes you shine and light up? And for me, it's all work around voice and bringing out the best in people. But for you, what is it for you? What's missing? Let's
Yeah.
start there, and then start to put into place a little plan that says, okay, it's something as simple as, I wake up in the morning and I don't drink a glass of water, and I know that's good for me. Or I know I've got to go out and see people today, and I've hardly been out in lockdown. And I mean, I can tell you from personal experience, I myself experienced anxiety, and I'm a pretty outgoing, confident person, but I was sitting there at my bay window doing my work, and the thought of going out and starting to reintegrate with people just felt like, A, a bit of a hassle, and B, I just thought, oh gosh, I haven't seen them in ages, I'm gonna have to sort my hair out, which I did.
Looks
However,
good.
yeah, well, except it was a very funny relationship with my hairdresser, because she's she's this amazing Hungarian barber who basically doesn't totally listen to what I want, but I've kind of come to really like how she is, so I accept it. But the point was, I felt this need to give myself what I needed in order to be able to face the world and face people. So I'll give you an example. I went to the opticians about a month ago, hadn't been, for a really long time. I suddenly hit that age where you have to wear varifocals, and I'm like, oh, I'm only 45. What? I thought old people wore those. Anyway, got to the opticians. Firstly, so you put your mask on, you go inside. How you breathe changes. So all the oxygen running around, it's like running to your head, you're feeling a little bit lightheaded, feeling a bit anxious, suddenly you're surrounded by people and thinking, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling like this? And acknowledging that it's within you. So one of the first things I realized for me early on was the type of mask I wear makes a difference to how I feel, because I'm always about image and looking good and feeling good publicly. And the mask I was wearing was a really lovely, good looking mask. There's a few of them that were made for me because I present and all of that stuff, but I realized I couldn't breathe properly in them. And so for me, it turned out that the simplest and the most lightweight mask for me to wear, that reduced my sort of feeling of anxiety, was just those simple blue nurse ones. Hang on, I've got one in my pocket. One of
Yeah, the
these.
surgical ones.
One of these.
Yeah.
And that's because it's quite thin. It's got the layers you need, but when I press that against my nose, I can tuck my glasses underneath it, and I can see clearly and I can breathe clearly. And that meant I could control my breathing. So got into the shopping centre, went to find Vision Express, which is my opticians, and it wasn't there. I was thinking, where's it gone? Oh, it was here on Friday. It's now like Monday. Where's it gone? All that had happened was it had moved around the corner. But for me, I'm thinking, have I gone a bit loopy? You know, something's happened here. So anyway, found it, went around the corner, got in there, sat down, and there was just chaos around me. And the staff were just doing their jobs. But for me, it was just like an attack on my senses. I just thought, right, you're experiencing anxiety. That's what's going on right now. So what did I do? I thought, right, just continue to face the wall that you're facing, because this little desk with the glasses on it. Just closed my eyes and just took a slow, deep breath in. We can do it now if you want. Right. So
Yeah, sure.
breathing, if you can master your breathing, you can control everything. Okay. So the first thing is just to empty out whatever is inside of your little belly. Okay. So you're kind of exhaling before you've even inhaled. So you're just going, okay. And then from there, you've got like a tightness in your tummy because you've exhaled. You slowly breathe in. So instead of breathing in through your nose, so Jen, if you just give me a breath in through your nose, I'm going to count a 3, 2, 1 and say go. Put your hand up when you finish your inward breath, okay? Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Put your hand up when you finish. They say 12. That's really good, actually. It's one of the longer ones in our group. Maybe you're not a fitness person.
Yeah, I'm a weightlifter. I'm used to breathing.
Excellent. Okay, so for anyone who's watching this, you may not have got to 12. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's not a competition. What matters is centering yourself. Okay, so exhale.
I already have.
I thought you might. Right. We're going to do the same exercise again, but this time we're going to make it really audible and really accentuated. Okay, so instead of breathing in through your nose, I want you to breathe in through your lips. I'll show you how I mean. Okay, so I'm going to just pierce my lips a little bit like I'm breathing in through a cocktail straw rather than a big milkshake straw. Okay, and I'm exhaling all of the air out of my belly. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there, and then it's going to be a. So it's a very kind of audible breath. Okay, so you do it. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Hey, the same. Wow, that's incredible. Well done. Exhale, 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 exhale. Okay, now, did you notice any difference about where that breath went?
Yeah, it went more into my chest.
Okay, and after it goes into your mouth, goes into your chest, starts to spread down your body into your belly. Okay, so what I want you to do is put your hands on your rib cage or into your belly, squeeze your belly basically. So if you're trying to hold your stomach in, don't. That's not what this exercise is about. So for us singers, performers, public speakers, let all that go. Dancers, it's about the exercise and how it serves you. Okay, so you're squeezing the air out of your belly, and you're going to fit. I want you to aim to see if you can make your fingers expand as you do the inward breath. Hang on, I'll bring mine down here. So see if I can get you to
Quite light.
see that. Okay, so I'm squeezing all the air out, and then I'm going to go. So you're filling it all up, and then exhale. And then we do what's called a relaxed breath. And we're back to resting position again, yeah? So, up you get, Jen.
Oh, God. I've still got my pajamas on.
That's all right.
These ladies are used to it.
Yeah, I mean, most of us have for the last year and a half. I only took mine off about half an hour ago. All right, so squeezing the belly in. Okay, and we're going to aim to really fill up that tummy, that diaphragm with air. Ready? Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Oh, fantastic. Watch that expand. And hold. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Should all go back in and the air should come out. And then a nice relaxer breath. Okay, so I'm going to do it to the count of 4, get you to hold, and then exhale. Okay, so squeezing his stomach in, air out. We're going to fill ourselves up with loads of air. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, and just keep exhaling until you've got nothing left, and take a nice big relaxer breath. Okay, now we're going to do the same again, but we're going to add 1 beat. So we're going to go to 5, and I want to hear that audible inhalation. Really helps you become present with your body when you do that. Okay, so breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let it go. And a nice big relaxed breath. Same again. And the whole point of breathing exercises is to do them really super slowly. Whatever you're doing, however slow you're doing it, do it slower. Okay. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. And a relaxer breath. Okay, so just briefly, at the moment, we're breathing in right into the belly and we're expanding the belly, and that slows our breathing down. And when we slow our breathing down, everything just becomes calmer. So what I did in the opticians that day was I just sat there, faced the wall, closed my eyes, and I just took in a slow breath. No one can see you. It's just for you, okay? If you think that that isn't kind of deep enough and you want a little bit more, you can also add in another little bit where you're breathing into your rib cage. So if I just show you that very briefly, instead of we're putting one hand on our into our diaphragm and the other hand on our rib cage. And what you'll see is first the belly goes out and then the rib cage would expand. So we're going to be going, and then I go like this with my teeth, and this will go out. And the purpose of that is just to give you a little bit more depth of breath if you think you need a little bit more. Not everyone needs that, but some people do. And the whole point, as I say, is just to kind of help center yourself and bring a sense of calm. So when you think about anxiety or nerves, what happens to your breathing? It becomes really shallow. Normally, people are kind of breathing. And when you do that, you're not really serving your body and giving yourself that huge depth of breath that helps you regain control. Okay, so that's just like one thing around breathing. Okay, so
Yeah.
is there anything you want to ask before I do another one?
So what do you think that would help with, like the anxiety, stress, or do you think it would help with something else?
I mean, the thing is, to begin with, if you're feeling anxious or nervous, as I said, when you do a slow, deep breath in, it slows everything down for you, because when you're in that kind of flight and fight mode, your fight and flight mode, you're thinking, oh, I don't feel comfortable here. I want to leave. I'm not happy. I need to do something. And everything is really limited. So your breath is limited. Um, your heart rate is going really fast. So by doing this breathing exercise, it helps to slow down your breathing and it helps to bring calm back. to you, so you regain power and control. So it's not something that you just do before you step out onto a stage, for example. It's just for everyday life, if you're feeling nervous or if you're feeling anxious. And one thing that people do sometimes is just add in music, like relaxing music at the same time. So it could be that you're starting your day and thinking, right, I'm going to listen to some relaxing music and I'm just going to focus a bit on relaxing my body. And we can do an exercise around that as well. But when you do that, you can also bring in like an audible sound, and it's just like a simple hum. And doing that kind of releases endorphins. It's all like happy stuff that makes your body and makes your mind and heart and soul feel good. So even if you're feeling negative, it's like smiling. If you smile, immediately you're sending a positive body a message to your body. All helps to release endorphins and make you feel good. So you might not be feeling it here in your head or in your heart, you might be feeling heavy, but when you do those simple things, there are chemicals that get released around your body and make you feel good. It's the happy stuff.
Mhm.
You probably know a little bit about that as well, Jen.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And would you recommend doing these kind of exercises before you even feel like anxious, or you're going to get stressed, that kind of thing? If you're feeling happy in yourself, would you say put it into your daily, like waking up in the morning or before you go to bed or something like that?
yeah, I mean, it goes along under the umbrella of mindset. It goes alongside things like gratitude and affirmations. So I don't know that you need to do it if you're feeling great anyway. I think it's just more about having time for yourself,
Yeah.
to give yourself appreciation and just say, you know what, I'm an amazing person. I do so much in this world and I want to enjoy my life too. So if you're already feeling great, then I don't think you need to change anything. But there's nothing wrong with enhancing, let's say, your toolkit with wonderful things. So
Yeah.
quite often, I'll wake up in the morning and I'll just think to myself, this is the gratitude side of things, where I just think to myself, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful that I woke up. And I know that sounds ridiculous, those of us who've experienced loss, you just don't ever take for granted what the gift of life is, but also your health. Why do you coach fitness? Because it helps people. So I'm lying there thinking, thank you for enabling me to get up and get out of this bed, for having freedom to move, and thank you for this lovely day. It might be a bit windy, but what can I do to make it fun? I know I'll get on my bicycle, might get lifted a bit, and just if you can start to put bits of gratitude into the beginning of your day, I think that's always a really lovely thing to do. But if you are feeling a little bit wobbly or not sure, then affirmations are brilliant. And affirmations are things where, like, you just say, you're feeling, I can't face people today. I don't look good. I don't feel good. So you just say to yourself, audibly as well as in your head, excuse me, I'm an amazing woman. I make a massive difference to people's lives. I'm brilliant at what I do in this world. And you just reel off things, and I'd really suggest you write them down, because you might not be able to think of them off the top of your head. And when I teach the course that I teach or do one-to-one coaching with people, we really kind of break it down and have like a little toolkit of things available for people, because one of the things I like to do is really get people into the nitty gritty of actually doing it, not just talking about it.
Yeah.
I've always been the sort of person that says, don't tell me, don't just show me, let's do it. Let's do it together. And I like doing what I call walking alongside coaching, so that people kind of get this feeling of being looked after for a while. Because as
Sure.
adults, we don't have that luxury in quite the same way, unless we gift it to ourselves, perhaps with, I don't know, coaching or therapy, as we do for our kids and the people we care about. We'll quite happily get up in the morning and do 4 or 5 school runs and sports activities, music activities for our kids and for other people. I've got to go and pick up this for my partner or that for a friend. But when do you stop and give it to yourself?
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing that I think you're saying, do we start with that in the day? Well, ask yourself, what could I do for me? Just one thing today, what could I do for me?
Yeah, totally agree. And like the ladies in here, you've made a positive step to looking after your health and your fitness by joining this coaching program. To just think about, if you are feeling a bit low and you're not, hitting your goals with whatever it is with your health and fitness, just go back to basics. And I've got health and fitness affirmations as well. So you can just go back and just say them out loud and it'll just put you in the right mindset. But even if you don't even want to focus on your goals that we've set, just focus on like being happy that you're alive, and just being positive in your current like stage in life. And it doesn't matter if you're not getting 10 push-ups or whatever it is that you want.
It's the first step, isn't it? It's just sometimes people are really finding things difficult, and I always just say it's that first step. Just make it's one moment at a time, literally sometimes 1 second at a time. If you're experiencing things in a really difficult way, I mean, you're talking about push-ups. I've always found doing full press-ups really difficult, and I've always ended up on my knees doing the half ones. And it's like, you know what, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Occasionally I'll do a full one and think, wow, oh my gosh, is this actually me? And then after 2 or 3 I'll collapse, that's it. But it doesn't matter, because the point is you're stopping and giving yourself that time to look after yourself. And it's your mind, your body, your physicality, your soul, your heart, all of those things. Like in lockdown I realized as much as we were allowed to go out for an hour a day at one point, and I'd go on a lovely walk and explore places, I was being really sedentary compared to normal. Normally I'd be up and about with all my PA gear and lugging it all in the car, go and do a talk or something somewhere with all my stuff, and that actually kept me really fit. But to kind of get yourself back to that place of feeling great, it requires time, and you have to just be gentle and fair with yourself and say, I've committed. That's the first thing. I've committed. I'm here on Jen's course right now, and that's brilliant, because I've given myself something. So you just have to keep looking around and asking yourself, what could I do differently to serve me in order that I can serve the world? And I like to think of it as a bit of an infinity cycle, that if you invest in yourself, if you replenish what's inside of you, you can then give out much more, and much better. And things like, I don't know, resentment because you might not feel appreciated, or feeling unfit, all of those things will start to just gradually change. If you can change how you look at stuff when people are upsetting you or you're feeling undervalued, and think, right, I'm going to put this energy elsewhere. Something hasn't gone to a plan, right, I'm going to invest in myself, rather than focusing on that negative thing. So now's the time, great jazz musician Thelonious Monk, now's the time. When else? We don't know how long we've got, so make the most of it now.
Definitely, yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, if anyone, if you've got any sort of specific questions around exercises or things that people have in particular, I don't know if anyone's able to write in the comments, or we'll probably see more people later.
I think we've just got Nikki Dykes watching us. Yeah, so I think a lot of people will catch up a little bit later. Well, that's fine. Obviously, you're in the group for a little bit longer. Do you have any last words about managing fear, anxieties, and stress?
I think the thing is, just remember that you're never at fault and wrong. We're all experiencing life in our own way, and sometimes things catch us unawares. And when I work with people, I'm doing quite a bit of work at the moment with people who are divorcing or in the process of.
Right.
And one of the things that's come up quite a lot recently is the comment of, I wish I could have done that differently. In hindsight, I would have done it differently. And all I'll say is that we are all on our own journey. There's no right and wrong. You can obviously look back and reflect and think, I'd have done that differently, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. You can say, all right, then do it differently next time. Become consciously aware. Just little tips. Like, another one is, if you're feeling physically uncomfortable or anxious, you can just take a finger and a thumb and get your nail and just press it into your finger. And what that does is it just removes whatever physical anxiety or manifestation is occurring in your body in one place. It might be a fast heartbeat, and it just dissociates you from that for a minute and brings you somewhere else. You're feeling that as a physical difference. If you're upset and you want to just take a slow deep breath in and add that in as well, just helps you regain control and power. So don't ever think, I'm doing this all wrong, I'm a terrible person, and my kids hate me, my husband or wife hate me, whatever. It's like, it's okay. The world is in a very funny place at the moment. Over 40% of the population are experiencing anxiety and fear. It's just, a statistic at the moment, and it's kind of good to know, because hopefully what that tells you is that you're not alone. There's almost half of the population are experiencing this anxiety right now, and it could be from anything relating to getting back into work, to taking your kids back to school and thinking, are they safe?
Yeah, totally. I would imagine it's probably higher than 40%.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they say at the moment, but so if you've got any questions, I'm in the group, as Jen said, just ping them to me. I'll do what I can to help. I've got a course coming up in 2 weeks or so, on the 7th of July. It's a 12-week course on presenting with confidence, and it starts with mindset, and it moves through things like planning. You say you can't do something, it could be an elevator pitch for a product you've got, or you don't have the confidence to speak up around your peers, and you want to be able to do that. So we look at how to plan in order that you practice what you need to get the result you want. So that's a 12-week course. But outside of that, I'm around. Just ping me messages, and if I'm a good fit for you, we'll work together. If not, I'll probably go, Jen, I think that's your department.
Yeah. And we've got a couple of ladies who are in kind of full-time corporate jobs, but we've also got one lady who is she's been inspired to become a fitness instructor herself, and she's got a first class booked in, like a taster class of people, and she's starting to feel nervous around that. So I would pick up with Aneesa and see if she's got any tips for you on that.
Sure. Yeah, no, not at all. But just remember, you're as normal as the next person, and there's no kind of barometer. It's just for yourself. If you know you're not feeling right, then ask yourself, what can I do about it? What do I want to do? What's available to me? And just don't be afraid. I think this whole lockdown thing has really helped people to realize that things are available out there. There's a lot more available out there than you might have realized. And if you can't find the answer yourself, someone probably can help you either directly or refer you to someone who can. So there's loads available to help you get through stuff, and we're all in it together. One of my favorite phrases at the moment is we're all just here to straighten one another's crowns. And I love that, because it's that whole thing of, you go and be a diva and shine your way, I'll go and be a diva and shine my way, but we're all trying to just have the best version of our lives that we can. And I'll help you and you help me, and it doesn't have to be direct. That whole act of kindness thing, do something nice for someone in one place, and somewhere else something will come back to you if it's meant to be.
Completely agree. And if people want to get in touch with you, what is the best way?
Probably just through Facebook. I mean, I'm in the group, so just DM me, send me a direct message, or you can go to my website, aneesachaudhry.com. So it's https://ANEESACHAUDHRY.com.
You should become a radio presenter. So you can drop your website in the comments underneath this live so people can find that. Just because obviously I'm going to be kicking you out. You're not going to be in here forever. So thank you very much. If anyone does have any questions for Aneesa, or if you don't feel comfortable getting in touch with her directly, then ask me, and then I can put the questions to her privately. Hope you all enjoyed it. Feel free to comment, let us know if you have watched, and we'll speak to you all soon. See you later, everyone.
Take care. Have a great day, guys. Bye.